If I had talked to the Al Snow back in 1982, when
Right.
you had stars in your eyes and you had all these dreams,
Right.
would that Al Snow believe me when I said you're going to be a businessman one day and you're going to be running a wrestling company?
God, no, I'd have thought you were completely out of your mind. Then no way, you know. And I tell people this all the time. You know, I remember I had this conversation not too long ago. One of the boys, you know, we were doing a television review class, and one of them asked, well, how long was it? You know, because today, the nature of the wrestling business is, you know, I've got to get signed. I've got to get signed with a national company. I have to get signed. That's all they care about. They don't even care who it's for, just as long as they get a contract with, you know, some company. And when I broke in, you know, that wasn't the case.
You broke in the territory days.
True.
Yep.
And the last thing you wanted to do was ever get locked down to any one place. You know, you never
And why
wanted
is that?
Because you're basically a product. And that's the one thing I keep trying to impart, is that there's a lack of understanding of what the wrestling business really is. A wrestler's job is solely to use their performance in the ring to sell the product, which is themselves, to motivate an audience to want to leave their home and watch them in person, have that experience. And it's a very, very tough job, and it gets exponentially harder every year because there's so many other options in regards to entertainment.
Right.
So you've got to, you know, not just, you know, hook an audience to where they won't turn the channel, but you've got to hook them so much that they are motivated to leave the safety and comfort of their home and drive to a building, probably on a larger scale, pay to park, which is an absurd thought. You know, here, I'm going to put my car in here and I'm going to pay for you to let me do it. And then pay a lot of times an exorbitant amount of money to get in the building, sit in a seat they don't want to sit in, around people they don't want to sit around, let's be honest. Pay for food they don't want to eat.
Right. And
then just to watch the wrestler do his job. And that's a very, very difficult thing to accomplish. And as a product, the problem is, no matter what the product is, you know, it has a shelf life. You know, what we call in the wrestling business, you have a run. And then, you know, no matter how much you love peanut butter, at some point in time, you get sick of eating peanut butter. You know, so now you want something different. You know, and in the old days, you know, they had the territorial system for the wrestlers. That was great because, you know, you'd have a certain run for a certain amount of time that you'd be very successful, but then you'd start to get stale in, say, Memphis.
Right.
Well, then you could always leave, you know, and you'd go to Florida. You could go to Texas. You'd reinvent yourself. You'd go to New York. You'd go somewhere else. So you could and you'd come finally back to Memphis. You were fresh. You were new. You were, you know, a brand new product that they hadn't seen in a while. Now, you know, a lot of the issue is with the modern day situations is that the talent have no other place to go. They are locked under a contract. They're staying. They become static, and then as a result, they become stale. And you know, years ago when I was with WWE, I had made the suggestion that both for the wrestlers' mental and physical health, and also so that you could keep them fresh, if you're going to make that investment in them, you know, have a flexible season. You don't have an established, because nothing, quite honestly, nothing in wrestling is carved in stone. It's all based on gut feeling and, you know, you just timing, everything. So you don't have it established like a football team or a basketball team where it's, okay, they go from this date to this date. But when you start to feel like they're starting to, you know, kind of burn out a little bit, you can see them physically or emotionally burning out or mentally from the stress and the travel, or physically, or the audience is just kind of starting to, because let's face it, I mean, no matter how talented Randy Orton is, so many times, we can only see Randy Orton against the same guy repackaged so many times. So take him off, you know what I mean? And now just use him at your live events, because you've already—
Make him a special attraction.
Correct. And you've already had him on TV enough to where he's going to still be a factor at your live events. Let him have a little time on there to where you eke out that last little bit of investment. Now let him sit at home and just sit for 3 months or whatever the length of time until you really genuinely have a real idea of, oh shoot, if we had him back, we could, oh, hey, call him. And then you bring him back, he's fresh again, he's brand new.